Alright, so I've started in on the construction of it, just barely. I haven't gotten very far at all, but just to kind of give you an idea of the process that I'm using to do that, at least for this initial one, I figured the cheapest way to do it would be to make it out of 2x4 stock. And basically all I did so far is I ripped down some 2x4s to the size I wanted for the actual size of the bike frame. It's like 1 1/8 by 1 1/2 inches. Which will then, that'll be shaped afterwards, so I kept it square now for construction. And then all I'm doing is I'm just putting it up to the template that I drew, measuring for the next block, and just cutting them. And all it is just stacking. Now normally this would be a very fragile, not very strong construction tactic, and it's not. The only thing that will be different about this, and the only reason why I'm even thinking about this, is because there will be a dowel. You might have heard me mention dowel construction in an earlier video. Basically all that means is that I'm gluing these pieces down, and in order to increase the amount of strength that these joints have, they're glued, and wood glue is actually a very strong bond to begin with, but to add to that, I'm also going to run a dowel rod all the way through. So once this starts to curve a little bit more, I'm actually going to drill a hole all the way through for a 1/2 inch dowel rod and run that through there, and that will increase the joint strength for this. So that will basically disallow a lot of any shifting here. So any force that's applied this way isn't just splitting along these joints anymore. It's also it's being reinforced by that dowel rod. So that's pretty much how the construction is going. And then there's some, as you can see, some of these are going to be long pieces, just because of the way they are. And even this little curved section, this is going to be a bunch of little pieces building up the curve. And then afterwards I can do the shaping. So this is all going to be a rough constructions, which will then be shaped and then turned into the round bike frame that I really wanted to see. So that's basically how it's going to be. I've still got a lot of work to do, obviously. I've just barely started. But just to kind of give you an idea too, the tools I'm using for this, I'm using a hand saw, a coping saw for some of the curvier parts, but basically just a hand saw for all of it. So it's taking me a lot longer than you could with a power saw. If you've got a power saw, I would recommend using it, because there's a whole lot of frame components to do. So that's pretty much it. And when I've done a little bit more, I will put it up another little progress vid.